Hey everybody, welcome back to the channel. If you're new here, my name is Rob Rabe. I'm a certified professional coach and I've been in leadership for over 12 years. I used to struggle with being an overachiever. I would set lots of goals. In fact, this last year I set 20 goals, which I obviously did not accomplish. I often have felt like with goals that I was doing everything yet getting nowhere or feeling overwhelmed. So I want to share with you the 3 lessons that I learned in this last year that helped me achieve massive success, not with 20 goals, but with a few very important goals. So let's get right into the video. Tip number 1, the power of vision and clarity on goals. I truly believe that with a goal, you should have a clear vision of where it is that you want to go. What is the destination that you want to reach? We can all list a bunch of goals or a bunch of things that we want to accomplish throughout the year, but sometimes we can accomplish those things and then feel like we didn't really get where we wanted to go. So I feel that first and foremost, the most important thing is to figure out where is it that I want to go, which leads me to my second point, having focus. So I heard of a concept a little while ago called singularity of focus. For those who are unfamiliar with this term, it basically just means focusing on one thing at a time. You could do this in tiny ways or you can do this in big ways. One of the tiniest ways to do this, for example, is to just remove all distractions, create a distraction-free workplace, and focus on the task you need to focus on, and only focus on that task until you're finished. Like doing this in reality is very difficult because we live in a very noisy and distracted world. There's so many distractions. Even at work, it can be really hard to pay attention, or even if you're in school, paying attention to what you're learning is extremely difficult because we have notifications coming our way, our minds are elsewhere. So here's some things that I found that were very helpful for me that may also help you in improving your focus. I would actually set my phone aside, set it to do not disturb for a certain time frame so that no notifications would come in that would distract me because I'm like really easily distracted. And then I would close any application I had open in my computer and only have the one application open that I needed to complete the task. And then I would actually set a timer for maybe 5 minutes or so, because in the beginning I had a really difficult time focusing. Like I could barely focus for 5 minutes. And now I can focus for extended amounts of time because I've taken that time to develop that discipline. We all understand that multitasking is not super helpful, but some things you may not be aware of is that it can actually take you much longer to complete a task if you're multitasking. You increase the rate of errors, and it's actually more draining on your mind and your body and creates more stress and anxiety if you're multitasking versus monotasking, focusing on one task at a time. The other thing that really helped me when I would focus on a task is I would enter the task without any attachment to the outcome or any judgment on what I was doing. You know, for example, if I had a blank piece of paper, I needed to write something, I would just write it, basically just barf it out on the page and not even criticize what I had written. And then I would step away and come back later and read what I had written. As most of you know, it's much easier to revise something that's been written than it is to stare at a blank page until your eyes bleed. Now, the third thing, last and most importantly, is to reflect. It's one thing to get the repetitions in. You've probably heard this, oh, you got to get the reps in, you got to get the reps in. But if you're getting the reps in, but you're not reflecting on the quality of the reps, what good is it getting the reps in? So for example, if you're not reflecting on, okay, I just did something, what worked, what didn't work, what am I going to do differently? What would I improve about this? And I found this incredibly useful for when I was going through the coaching program this last year, because I would reflect on how did I do as a coach? What skills did I use? What worked? What didn't work? What am I going to do better next time? For example, I noticed I wasn't listening very well or actively. Instead, I was listening to respond. So I'm going to make it a point that next time when I have a coaching session, I'm going to really focus on listening and not inserting my own opinions into the conversation. Also, in addition to that, tuning into what's happening internally. If you have a task or a goal that you've been putting off or avoiding, I would encourage you to ask yourself, what are the feelings that are coming up for me? And why am I having these feelings? What thoughts come up? What are the actions that I'm taking when I think this way, when I feel this way? I found it even very helpful to write it down on paper so that I can see it in real life and go, oh, this is what's really going on. And then I found that I've been able to actually write, okay, what is the opposite thought that I would like to have, and then focusing on that thought versus focusing on the thought that is going through my head constantly. So being able to shift that inner conversation that I'm having with myself, or that my critic is having about me, I found has been very powerful. Now, if you're ready to take your personal development to the next level, I would love to support you. As a certified professional coach, I will work with you to develop a plan to help you achieve your goals and, most importantly, become the best version of yourself. If that interests you, feel free to email me. My email address is listed on the channel. Hopefully this video has been helpful, and I'll catch you in the next one.